Hi, I'm Brittany. I'm a cosplayer. My account is Built by Brit. That's what I kind of go by. And I've been officially cosplaying for like 3 years now. Growing up, always loved dressing up. I'd go to movie premieres up until I was like 18. I dressed up as Bo Peep for Toy Story 3 when that came out. Cool stuff. But yeah, it wasn't until I was on Reddit like 3 years ago and I saw somebody make some really cool armor and I was like, shoot, I gotta learn how to do that. So my very first cosplay was Zelda, the Twilight Princess version, and yeah, I started with that, just kind of jumped into a really intense costume for my first one and have been building stuff ever since. So I've always been like a huge Legend of Zelda fan. The first one that I remember playing was Ocarina of Time when I was a kid, so that is like my main fandom, like all my stuff. That's why I started with Zelda. That's what I love. I also love like Harry Potter. My husband and I got into One Punch Man, and holy cow, that's the most hilarious anime I've ever watched, and I'm really mad there's only one season. But so we've gotten into that. We're trying to branch out into some others as well, but that's been my first introduction into anime. One of my favorite, I guess, nerdy movies, I've always enjoyed Star Wars. I was young when the first ones came out, so really my first introduction was when episode 1, 2, and 3 came out. And then whenever the most recent ones started coming out and I got to see Force Awakens, and Rey was like a huge fan crush because she's such an awesome person, an awesome character, and really like a strong role model for girls, I think. So when I saw that costume on screen, I was like, holy cow, I've got to make that. So that was one of my next big endeavors, was to make a pretty screen accurate Rey. My goal is to get inducted into the Rebel Legion with that, so I'm working on that right now. I think I'll have to remake the staff because I just made it out of random hodgepodge parts and they're very specific about what they want, so I'll have to redo that, but other than that, it should be pretty good to go. My favorite thing to go to is thrift stores and like habitat stores and just look at everything I can find and see how I can turn it into a costume. So, for example, this is my Rey staff that I talked about earlier. It's not Rebel Legion approved, but it's cool because all I did was I went through and I scavenged parts from random stores to turn it into a staff. So I like at conventions to play a game with people. I make them guess like what this is made out of, so you guys can try to guess, but I'm gonna give it away. This is like a child-proof doorknob. This is a shower curtain ring. This was another part of a doorknob that I just like cut the part off and then glued it all together. And then just random scraps of fabric and leather, and then a little bit of paint, and then some silver polish, and then it looks like a pretty legit staff. So that's what I love to do. I love to kind of find things and then turn them into something cool. I make a lot of stuff from scratch, but I think my favorite is just like teaching people how you don't have to have a lot of money to make stuff, because like this literally cost me less than $9. So everybody has $9 in their pocket, I'd assume. And so they can make stuff like this. Like, you don't have to have a lot of money to make cool things. So, yeah. So, one of my most favorite things about starting a new project is doing the research. So, when I started to build Rey, I found an article online of the actual costume designer who designed Rey's outfit. And he wanted everything that she wore to actually be like appropriate for when she's in the desert and whatnot. So this thing is actually a sweater, so that way at night when it would get cold, she would be able to put this on for warmth. And then during the day, she could use it as a face shield to protect her from the sand and sun and all that cool stuff. So that's what's most fun for me, is finding all these little details and then bringing them to life in a costume. So as far as Marvel movies go, I have a couple favorites. Guardians of the Galaxy, of course, but the whole Captain America Civil War series, as well as the character Winter Soldier, I really love his arm. And when I saw that on screen, I wanted to figure out how I could make that and make it look cool. So every year, my husband and I will usually do like a joint costume together. So we decided he could be my Cap and I could be his Bucky. So I started making my Winter Soldier, which the arm is completely made out of leather. I was gonna go with like a hard thing at first, but then I decided that leather would look the coolest, but still not be too, like sometimes if you try to make it look exactly like the thing and it doesn't, then it ends up looking strange. So leather was like a cool artsy take on it. And I actually got my arm signed by Sebastian Stan. It's so cool. I met him when he was here at Wizard World. But so yeah, that was probably one of my favorite costumes. It was my first delve into lots of leather. So yeah, that was one of my favorites. So I am a huge Nintendo fan as well. Like as far as gaming goes, obviously Zelda, and then Samus as well, the whole Metroid series. I really enjoyed playing that as a kid, so I had to make some sort of Samus. So I found this Zero suit online that was designed by Brandon Gilberto, I think is his name. So I got that suit, but because I like to make things myself, I was like, I can't just buy that. I need to like add something that's my own. So I decided to build her arm from the Varia suit that she has. Right now I just have the arm. It's fully equipped with LEDs. It was my second time working with LEDs, so I learned a lot, and I have a lot of learning to go. But yeah, so I built her arm, and then I plan to build her leg again too, so it's kind of like a mashup between her Zero suit and her Varia suit. But yeah, Nintendo is a passion of mine, so I was like, yeah, I gotta do Samus. Okay, so this is part of my Samus suit. This is made out of EVA foam. It's just foam you can get at hardware stores. It's super cheap. A lot of it, you can buy a big roll for like $9. Apparently I buy things for $9. And yeah, so I equipped it. Let me see if I can, I don't know if you'll really be able to see, but I ran LED lights through here, and then it has the different connectors that look like this that also connect to the arm. And then I have a shoulder, like a bicep piece as well. But so this is made out of EVA foam, coated in Plasti-Dip, and then painted. Pretty simple. There's tons of tutorials out there on YouTube. You can learn how to make this in a day. And then you just take some practice to get it like super sleek and smooth. And then this was actually, so at Ace Hardware, a thing of PVC pipe cut down to like what, 2.5 feet, and then craft foam that you can get at Dollar Tree for $1, just cut out in different pieces, glued on there, and then I rigged up a little switch. So inside there's a switch that I can turn my LED lights on and off, and then this is just like a piece of plastic to kind of diffuse the lights a little bit. So yeah, super cheap, really easy to make, affordable materials, really, you know, simple if you just learn how to work with your stuff and get a little creative. I think the coolest part about cosplay for me is the community that's around it, especially, so I kind of consider myself in like the builder sphere of cosplayers. A lot of the people who I follow on YouTube are people who have taught me how to make all this stuff. And my goal as I make more things is to teach people how to make those as well, and to learn that, you know, they don't have to have a lot of money. You don't have to be spending tons of money on Worbla or have a 3D printer or, you know, have all this crazy fancy stuff to make cool things. So, you know, I just encourage you guys that as you're starting out, yeah, there's gonna be a lot of stuff that people make that's gonna look better than ours, but you know, you learn as you start. And you can start with cheap things, and the more you go, the better you're gonna get, and then your stuff's just gonna get cooler and cooler. I'm based out of the Tulsa area. My husband and I tend to go to conventions, you know, kind of around here, Tulsa, Texas, anywhere around there. So if you ever see me, please come say hi, take a picture. If you have any questions on how I make any of this stuff, please send me a message. I mostly do stuff on Instagram, Built by Brit. But yeah, contact me. I'm more than happy to help you guys make your stuff.